slash at all. Some would say I'm the reverse.
Some would say I'm the reverse, and welcome back to another tier list video for the Star Wars movies. Today we have Star Wars Lightsaber Duels. There are entries in here from all 9 Skywalker Saga films, since there are no lightsaber duels in Rogue One or Solo. Um, Now, what constitutes a lightsaber duel? This list will probably be very different than a lot of people's lists. Um, there isn't necessarily a set of rules that I followed to pick what I think is a lightsaber duel. For example, most of these lightsaber duels obviously are between 2 or more people fighting each other with lightsabers. But then there's one, which is Kylo Ren and Rey versus the Praetorian Guards, which is 2 people with lightsabers versus other people with different melee weapons. Now, I included it because I thought it was a worthy entry onto this list, but there's also other fights in the Skywalker saga that are multiple people with lightsabers on the same side fighting other people with melee weapons. Um, for example, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, or excuse me, Anakin and Obi-Wan versus the Magna Guards. Um, Given a set of rules, this should be on the list as well, but it's not because there is no set of rules that I'm following. I'm just putting on this list what I think uh, deserves to be on the list. Now, this list includes 2 entries from The Phantom Menace, those being Qui-Gon and versus Darth Maul on Tatooine, and Qui-Gon versus Obi-Wan, or excuse me, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. There's 2 entries from Attack of the Clones, which is Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku, and Yoda versus Count Dooku. There's 5 from Revenge of the Sith, which is Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku v2, Obi-Wan versus General Grievous, Mace Windu and the Jedi Masters versus Palpatine, Yoda versus Palpatine, and then Anakin versus Obi-Wan. There's 1 entry from A New Hope, which is Darth Vader versus Ben Kenobi. There's 1 entry from Empire Strikes Back, which is Luke versus Vader. There's 1 entry from Return of the Jedi, which is Luke versus Vader v2. There's 2 entries from The Force Awakens, Finn versus Kylo Ren, and then Rey versus Kylo Ren. There's 2 entries from The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren versus Rey, or Kylo Ren and Rey versus the Praetorian Guards, and then Luke versus Kylo. There's 2 entries from Rise of Skywalker then, which is Kylo Ren versus Rey on Kijimi slash the Star Destroyer, and then Kylo Ren versus Rey on the Death Star 2 wreckage on Kefpur. That is a lot of lightsaber duels. I believe it's 18. So let's just get right into it with I don't know why I was about to say Kylo Ren. Let's get into it with Kylo Ren. I said it again. Oh my gosh. Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul on Tatooine. I'm going to put this into the C tier. Um, which might be surprising to some of you because this is a pretty unremarkable and overlooked lightsaber duel. People don't think of this lightsaber duel when they think of the Phantom Menace lightsaber duels. When they think of Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, they think of the Naboo fight with Obi-Wan and stuff like that. But I think this battle is actually really good. I mean, there's no remarkable choreography moves in here. There's nothing that like I think is really cool in terms of choreography. I really like the opening of it. It just goes right into it. When Darth Maul's coming up behind, Qui-Gon says, "Anakin, drop," and then it just goes right into it. I think that's really cool. I also like that this basically just shows off that Darth Maul, he's a badass and he knows how to fight with a lightsaber, but they don't show his double-bladed lightsaber yet. They save that for the Naboo fight, which I think is cool. And also, this is the first lightsaber duel between the Jedi and the Sith for thousands of years, which is mainly why this is in the C tier and not in like the E tier. I just really think in the lore, I think this is a really cool fight, given that it's the first Jedi and Sith lightsaber duel in like a millennia. So that's awesome. And then there's Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, which obviously goes straight to the A tier. The choreography in this one is incredible. Duel of the Fates is still an iconic piece of music. Um, yeah, it's just, there's not much to say about this fight, other than the choreography is amazing, the music is amazing. Um, Darth Maul obviously shines in this, and this is where his hatred for Obi-Wan began. This is the death of Qui-Gon, which sucks. The setting in this is really cool as well. They start off in the hangar, and then they go off into the reactor core with the energy beams and the platforms and stuff, and then they go into the like that hallway with the energy fields. I think that's what they're called, just those red energy walls, which I think serves as a really good kind of pause in the battles. But yet it's still very intense. Obi-Wan just has to wait there because he's been cut off from them, and then he can't save Qui-Gon because of it. And then they're in that little the reactor room with the hole, and then Darth Maul seemingly dies, comes back later in Clone Wars. Um, yeah, just a really awesome fight scene and very iconic. Still considered by most fans to be one of, if not the best lightsaber duel of all time. Uh, I don't think it's the best just because it's all flash, no substance. Obviously, Qui-Gon dies and stuff, but um, it is all flash and there isn't really any emotion to it, just the death. But yeah, then we have Obi-Wan versus Anakin in Attack of the Clones, which I'm gonna put in the E category since there's nothing special about this lightsaber duel. Um, it's very short and it's kind of in two different parts. It's Qui-Gon, or I'm bad with names today, okay? Count Dooku versus Obi-Wan, in which Count Dooku defeats Obi-Wan, and then Count Dooku versus Anakin. Count Dooku defeats Anakin, and it's all just wrapped up in a few minutes. Very short. Nothing great choreography-wise. I think the best choreography in the fight, I think, is Anakin wielding two lightsabers and doing that cool little spin thing. I think that was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, just it's really short. There's nothing remarkable about it. I think the most interesting thing about it is the fact that Count Dooku is a fallen Jedi. This lightsaber fight would definitely be way better if we saw Count Dooku in the Phantom Menace, like on the Jedi Council. Um, it would have a lot more emotional weight to it. Uh, I don't know. I really like Count Dooku in Attack of the Clones. I like how he's not pure evil, and you can tell that he thinks he's doing he's doing what he thinks is right, and he's being manipulated by Palpatine, and he even tells Obi-Wan that Palpatine, or that the Senate is under control of a Sith Lord. He doesn't flat out say that it's the Chancellor or anything, but the duel itself, not much remarkable about it. I mean, it's cool seeing Anakin wield the green lightsaber. The little part where they're flashing their lightsabers around, I think, is kind of dumb. Um, but yeah, the main thing that dogs this down is just it's only a few minutes long, so. And then we have Count Dooku versus Yoda, which I think goes right behind it. Um, Obviously, people hate Yoda flipping around. I don't have a problem with it. I just think that, just like the last one, this is too short. I do like their little force battle at the beginning, and then they go into their lightsaber battle, which the choreography again isn't great. It's just Yoda flipping around doing stuff, and Count Dooku just flashing his lightsaber around. Uh, yeah, nothing special about this. There is a little bit of emotional impact between Yoda and Count Dooku, given that Count Dooku is Yoda's former apprentice, his fallen apprentice, but we never get to see any of that, so it doesn't really matter in this fight. Maybe if we got like a book or something, or we saw that relationship between them before, like I said, in The Phantom Menace, then there'd be a little bit more emotional connection between the two characters from our perspective. But once again, it's a very short scene, emotionless, not not that good. Then we go into Revenge of the Sith, with Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku V2, which I am going to put in the C tier ahead of the Tatooine battle between Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. I really do like the choreography at certain points in this battle. I like how it's just Anakin versus Count Dooku at the end. Really shows how far Anakin has come since Attack of the Clones. His powers have doubled since the last time they met. Um, and obviously, Count Dooku gets thrown away really early in this movie, which I don't really like. But it does have a very important role in the movie. It's the first sign of Palpatine's manipulation of Anakin, when Anakin kills Count Dooku. Very dark moment for Anakin, and it shows at the beginning that he regrets it instantly. I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way. And then later on in the film, he loses his faith in the Jedi, and eventually he stops caring about the Jedi way, and he starts only caring about Padme, and he turns to the dark side. So this is a very important lightsaber duel in the film. Um, Next we have Obi-Wan versus Grievous, which I'm gonna put it in the E tier. It's very close to the F tier since, um, I mean, it's cool and all. General Grievous with 4 arms, wielding 4 lightsabers, battling Obi-Wan, but very quickly off, he loses 2 of those lightsabers, and then it's just 2 arms, which is less impressive. And then it goes on to into a chase scene, which I think is better than the lightsaber fight. The lightsaber duel itself, um, isn't very remarkable at all. The chase scene, however, I think is pretty cool. And then the battle on the platform when they're just melee battling with their hands and stuff, I think is very cool. And then uh, Obi-Wan does sort of an uncivilized move using a blaster, and then the battle is over. But there's really no emotional connection between them. Um, it is better once you watch the Clone Wars and realize that these two have a history together. They always fight during the Clone Wars, and they've become sort of rivals within the war, which I think that makes this a little bit more enjoyable than it was before. But still, there's nothing interesting about it. Now we have Mace Windu and the Jedi Masters versus Sidious, or Palpatine, the Senate, which I'm going to put in F tier. Now, hear me out. I um I kind of like the part where at the beginning where Palpatine just kills all the Jedi. Again, a lot of people disagree with me on this because they keep saying, um, these are Jedi Masters. How did he kill them so quickly? Well, that's the answer. He did it so quickly they didn't realize he's a Sith Lord, motherfucker. He is Darth Sidious, and he killed them all. And then Sidious versus Mace Windu. It just goes downhill from there. Uh, I hate the choreography in this. It is the worst choreography in the film, I believe. I believe that. There are some CGI moments that kind of redeems it, like when sorry for the train in the background. Like when Palpatine does a backflip and then a front flip and stuff like that. There are some good, decent CGI moments like that. There's also some bad CGI moments where his face looks so bad. But the actual physical choreography between Palpatine and Mace Windu is not good. And that's why it lands in the F tier. The end is really good, though. I like the lightning bit, when he's deflecting the lightning, then Anakin cuts off Mace Windu's hand. Unlimited power is very cheesy, but it's a meme, so yeah, that's really it. Then we have Yoda versus Sidious, which I will put in the D tier. Definitely better than all the ones below it. Yoda flipping around is better in this than it is in Attack of the Clones. And the setting is awesome. I love them fighting in the Senate room. I think that's just really cool. And the part where they're throwing the Senate, like, I don't know, pods things at each other is really cool. And it's cool to see Yoda hold his own against the Force lightning just with his hands, and then he throws it back at Sidious, which that sounds really dirty. He throws it back at Sidious, but you know what I mean. And then we actually have Yoda losing in this, uh, which is interesting. Now, it would have been even more interesting if Obi-Wan came to fight Palpatine and Yoda went to fight Anakin, but obviously I'm glad with what we got. Um, I want someone like to make an animation if they switched places, because both of those fights would have been incredible to see on screen. Like imagine Yoda versus Anakin, that'd be awesome. And then Obi-Wan versus Palpatine, that'd be awesome. So yeah, someone make an animation of that, please. Um, we have Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar, which goes in the A tier. In my opinion, it is, if it's one of the best, if not the best lightsaber duel in the entire franchise. The emotional impact is like none other in this fight. Um, Obviously, we have it on Mustafar with all the lava coming up. It is very impressive. Visually, the choreography here is awesome. I really love at the beginning when they're just trading blows on the platform and stuff. They go inside. They have that little twirly moment, which I know gets some hate from people. Like they're just, it's like a dance, but it makes sense. They're eyeing each other out, trying to find weaknesses in each other. They're using the Force. They are Jedi that are well trained in lightsaber combat. It all makes sense. Um, the part that I don't necessarily love is the Tarzan part. But then they go on to the platform floating over the lava river, and that's awesome. And then Obi-Wan gets the high ground. Anakin tries it, even though Obi-Wan tells him, "Don't try it." And then he gets his legs cut off, and he's born into Darth Vader. And there's not much else that I can say that hasn't been said about this fight. It is just incredible in almost every single way, with Battle of the Heroes playing in the background, plus Anakin versus Obi-Wan, the musical score. It's great, okay? And this cutting in between, or in and out of the Yoda versus Sidious battle is very cool, with Duel of the Fates playing during that. I forgot to mention, in that fight, Duel of the Fates is incredible. I like it even more in that than in Phantom Menace. But back on track, the music in it is incredible. Then we have Vader versus Obi-Wan, which I'm gonna put it in the C tier behind this, or D tier, excuse me. Um, Obviously, it is the first lightsaber duel in the history of Star Wars, so I'm gonna cut it some slack there. They didn't know what to do with lightsaber duels, um, but still, it does not hold up today. This is one of the This is one of the only things in the original trilogy that doesn't really hold up today. Um, is this choreography? It's bad. Okay, I know it's a very iconic fight, and the emotional resonance, especially after the prequels, is incredible in this fight. Doesn't hold up to the Mustafar emotion, but yeah, um, I actually saw a theory that explained the bad choreography. That basically Vader, he still had feelings for Obi-Wan, not romantic feelings, obviously, but he still cared for his master, and that's why he held back. And obviously, Obi-Wan still cared about Anakin, and he was holding back. And just the fact that they were both holding back um, during this fight, and that's why it's so bad. I wish I could believe that, but it's just bad choreography, which is why it lands in the D tier. But it is an iconic fight, and it has a certain charm to it that I love, and I'm counting the canon lightsaber duel, not scene 38. If you've seen that fan film on YouTube, or if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is a reimagining of this with better choreography. It's incredible, but I do prefer this actually over that, just because of how iconic and charmful it is. But yeah, let's move on. Next we have Luke versus Vader from Episode 5. This is definitely one of my favorite lightsaber duels of the franchise. Oops, wrong one. This goes straight to A tier, right behind the Mustafar duel. I love the beginning. Like I said in the last tier list that I made, listing the movies themselves, I actually said that my favorite um, line from Vader of all time is what he says at the very beginning: "The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet." The part in the carbon freezing chamber is awesome. Then the part in that one hallway is awesome. And then the little force thing where he's throwing stuff at Luke is awesome. Then they go out to the platform. No, I am your father. Incredible twist. Sorry if I spoiled it for you, but everybody knows that. Um, everybody in the world basically knows that twist. And if you don't, I don't know how you don't, because it is so iconic now. Um, that everybody knows it, whether or not they've seen a Star Wars movie. They know that Vader is Luke's father. Um, but the choreography way better in this than it is in A New Hope. Um, and it actually holds up today. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it, really. Um, but yeah, tell me in the comments what you think about this, because I'm really intrigued. Some people think the choreography can hold up, but some people do not. I am definitely uh, part of the fan base that thinks the choreography does. I really do like the choreography in this. It's definitely different than the fast-paced choreography in the prequels, but I still love it. Then we have the Return of the Jedi fight, which I'm going to put in the A tier as well. Right here, right after the Duel of the Fates. Um, yeah, I really love this fight due to its emotional impact. It's more emotional than the Empire fight, even, just because Luke actually has a kind of has a father-son relationship with Vader. He wants to redeem him, but then Vader wants to turn Luke to the dark side, and then there's just the Emperor watching it, cackling away. Um, yeah, I love this. I love the nice little pauses they have in this fight. Um, they fight a little bit, then they pause and talk on the stairs, and then it is not wise to lower your defenses. Then they go back into fighting, and then Luke backflips onto that little thing. Vader throws his lightsaber. Luke goes under the steps. Vader mentions Leia. Luke just goes full dark side on him, defeats him, and then obviously the Force lightning bit. Anakin is redeemed, and it's just a very emotional and very awesome lightsaber fight. That's all I really have to say. Um, also, the visual aspect of it in the Death Star throne room is cool as hell. I really like how the green lightsaber looks in this fight. Um, this is probably the only instance I prefer blue lightsabers to green, but this is probably the only instance in the original trilogy where I don't think blue would look as good as green. Green just looks incredible in this fight, and yeah, that's really it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Next, we have Kylo versus Finn, which I'm going to put it in the E tier. Here, excuse me, I'm going to move stuff around. I'm going to move that. I'm going to move that. I'm actually going to put this in between the two Attack of the Clones fights. I think, obviously, it doesn't have, like, any emotion, but it kind of has that betrayal factor to it. How Finn kind of betrayed the First Order and Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren even screams, "Traitor!" to him. Choreography in this, um, is not remarkable at all, but I do like the kind of forceful hits Kylo uses in this trilogy, and especially in this fight against Finn. Every strike just feels like it packs 50 pounds along with it. He just slams his lightsaber on Finn. I also like him pounding at his little scar there, that he got, or his little blaster hit that he got from Chewie, because obviously Sith are fueled by their rage, their anger, and their pain. Um, yeah, I really like that aspect. There's not much else to say. Visually, it's not like beautiful or anything. Obviously, it's very crisp. Like the new movies are very crisp and visually stunning. But there's nothing great about this. I kind of like the blue hue it has in that forest, but that's really it. And then we have Kylo versus Rey, which I'm going to put in the C tier in between these two fights. Definitely way better than Kylo versus Finn. The reason I put these as two separate fights is because quality-wise they're different. They happen at different times. Um, yeah, there's just a lot different stuff. There's different stuff to talk about. We have that Vader-Luke connection, not the fatherly son connection, but Kylo trying to turn Rey to the dark side. That kind of connection. The choreography in this is, I think, better than the Finn and Kylo version. I don't like Rey's fighting style in this. How she like kind of stabs forward. It just looks really weird to me. But I still like Kylo. His and then they have that little standoff where they're holding each other's lightsabers down and pushing it into the snow, and it has that cool little sound there. And then Rey beats him, which I don't like at all. I think Kylo should have won by far. He should have destroyed her. Not maybe even like cut her hand off or something. But she wins, which I guess Kylo is in a mental state because in a weird mental state because he just killed his father. Also, he just got shot. But it's still though like Rey is untrained with a lightsaber. She should not have won. Um, but anyways, I have mixed feelings on the start as well. Her grabbing the lightsaber with the Force. Um, I think that's kind of stupid and kind of cool at the same time. It's a cool moment with the Force music playing, the Force theme playing in the background when she turns it on. But obviously, the Mary Sue aspect, she should not be able to Force grab it like that without any training. I guess she's a Palpatine, we can go with that, but yeah, let's just move on. Uh, Next we have Kylo and Rey versus the Praetorian Guards, which I will put in the B category. I think this is a very visually stunning lightsaber duel. Technically not a lightsaber duel, they don't actually touch lightsabers the entire time, but I think it is still deserving to be on this list, since it is remembered as a lightsaber duel and remembered as a good one at that. The visuals on this are stunning. The red throne room and stuff, and the sort of the red curtain on the window, I guess, burning away is just so cool looking. And there's Snoke's body cut in half, which I don't like Snoke's death, obviously. I don't think anyone does. Um, but that's really cool. The Praetorian Guards mixing with the red looks really cool. And just Kylo and Rey working together gave me goosebumps when this came on for the first time. Uh, yeah, that's really it. There are some cool maneuvers at the end of the fight, like when Rey drops the lightsaber and then kills that Praetorian guard. When she throws it to Kylo and he just quick turns it on and off into that guy's head. That's cool. And then the lightsaber is destroyed after that and stuff. Obviously, there is some rough choreography at the beginning. The Praetorian guards just aren't like doing anything productive. One of them is just hitting the air, which I guess could be explained because they have full face masks, so poor depth perception, I guess. But still, it's bad choreography, and also the blade goes through, which I've never had a problem with. But some reason, people are like they lost their shit about that. Like, oh my god, how dare the lightsaber blade, or how dare the blade go through, and just hating on the battle. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. I think it's stunning. I think it's beautiful, and I love it. So I'm going to put it on this list, regardless of if it's a lightsaber duel or not. Also, this next one, uh, Kylo Ren versus Luke, I'm going to put this in the B tier as well, above that, because the emotional impact, though the scene wasn't played off as emotional as it should be, it is very emotional. It's between uncle and nephew, and, last time Luke saw Kylo was when Kylo betrayed him and killed all the Jedi at his academy, and turned some to the dark side, of course. And last time Kylo saw Luke is when Luke tried to kill him, So there's definitely some hard feelings in there. There's a mention of Han, obviously after he died. So there's a lot of emotion in that. There's some great visual storytelling. The fact that Luke uses the blue lightsaber regardless of because it's been destroyed is a good thing in my opinion. People don't like that he used the blue one. I do because that's what emotionally resonates with Kylo. That's the whole point of Luke being there, not only to stall the resistance, but also just to toy with Kylo and to kind of just play with his emotions, really. That's why he has shorter hair. That's why his hair's not gray, and that's why he's using the blue lightsaber. There's also some awesome visual storytelling with the red salt with the salt with the red underneath it, the red soil. We see Kylo's footprints um, in the red, but not Luke's because Luke is a force projection. So that's awesome. We also see like when Kylo slides across after he's sliced through Luke. It's basically, after the whole area's been decimated by the AT M6s or M8s, whatever they're called. Um, there's like red all over the place, all the scars from their emotional past, and then after Kylo slices through Luke, he slides on the red soil. There is this new blood scar just across the battlefield. I don't know how to explain it. The visual storytelling though is great in this. Like I mentioned last video, if you have not seen if you haven't seen this video, go check it out. I might link it in the description. It is how music can change a scene, Kylo Ren versus Luke. Um, I'm just not even going to explain it. Explain what it is. Go check the link. Or if I forgot to put a link, um, go look it up. It's how music can change a scene. Kylo Ren versus Luke. It is very emotional. It should have been this way in the film. Obviously, we say that in hindsight, but it is just it's an incredible scene like that. But let's move on. We got Kylo Ren versus Rey, the Force Skype battle on Kijimi slash Kylo's Star Destroyer. If you don't know what I mean, remember back to the film. I'm gonna put this in F tier since there's nothing. This isn't really like a climax. This isn't supposed to be a climactic lightsaber duel. It's just supposed to be a plot device, and I'll get to that later. If you don't remember this lightsaber duel, I don't blame you. Basically, Kylo Ren is on the surface of Kijimi. Rey is on the Star Destroyer looking for the dagger and looking to free Chewie. And they force Skype like they've been doing since The Last Jedi. They have a full-on lightsaber duel, and when they're in two different locations. Um, and I just really like the way they used the Force Skype. That's what I call it. Um, I really like the way they used that in this, with the red sort of beat. I don't know what they were. It looked like some sort of food, but it was like red, like some sort of fruit maybe. Uh, and it was like spilling all over the ground from Kijimi. Uh, and then it showed up in Rey's Star Destroyer, obviously only in her mind. And then Rey cut right through that little podium with Vader's mask. It dropped on the ground, and then Kylo figured out where Rey was. I thought that was really cool, and yeah, I really like the creativity in this lightsaber battle. There's nothing great about it, like uh, choreography wise, or visually. It's not visually impressing or anything. Impressive. I don't know why I said impressing. It's not visually impressive or anything, or choreographically impressive. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, that's why I put it in the F tier. But I do appreciate the creativity with the Force Skype, and the way they used it. Then we have Kylo Ren versus Rey on Kefber, which um I'm gonna put in the C tier. I'm gonna move all these so I can put it in the front of the C tier. I think this is a decent lightsaber duel. Put it right there. All right. Visually, it is really cool to look at. It's on the freaking Death Star 2 wreckage, which is awesome. But visually, it is very reminiscent of Obi-Wan versus Anakin, except this time it's water instead of lava. And I just love like the water slash kind of mist going like over them, and Kylo Ren walking through it. Some of the choreography is really good, while other moments I don't like it at all. I really don't like those pauses they take, where they take like one strike, then stand there for a few seconds, then they take another and stand there for a few seconds. It's supposed to imply that they're tired, but I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't like that. I just think it's a really awkward moment with the music, and it's just I don't know. The music's just matched up uh, with that. I don't know. It's just really weird. And I also don't like the ending where Leia sacrifices her life to turn Ben to the light side, and then Rey stabs him and then force heals him. I think that's just stupid. I do like the Han Solo scene right after that. I think that scene is awesome and very emotional, and I do like the lead up into this. I love Rey entering the throne room, and the music that played during Vader's death scene playing in that. That was very emotional. And then she goes and fights a little bit of a dark Rey, which I didn't include on this list since it was purely a marketing ploy that they just did to put it in the trailer. It had a little bit of context within the film of her being sort of manipulated, or not manipulated, like tempted by the dark side, tempted to take Emperor Palpatine's throne and become Empress Palpatine. But still, they didn't really need to show that. You didn't really need to have her literally fighting a vision of her evil self with sharp teeth and a foldable double-bladed lightsaber. It's just too much. Okay, I don't like that. So I didn't include that. But then I do like Kylo and Rey's little um, sort of battle in the throne room when she's just swinging and he's dodging it. I kind of like that. And then when he crushed the holocron, or what's it called in the movie? Wavefinder. Wayfinder. I can't remember. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, I do like the visuals of this fight a lot, uh, and also it has my favorite line of the entire Star Wars saga, when Finn comes up and just screams, "Rey!" for the fifth time in the entire trilogy, which I think is hilarious. I love that line. Great writing. But there's not much else to say about this. So yeah, that's my tier list ranking. We have Anakin versus Obi-Wan, Luke versus Vader, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, Luke versus Vader v2, Kylo versus Luke, Kylo and Rey versus the Guards, Kylo versus Rey v3, um, and then we have Anakin versus Obi-Wan versus, or Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku v2, Kylo versus Rey v1, Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, Yoda versus Sidious, Anakin versus Obi-Wan v2, or Darth Vader versus Ben, I guess, Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Count Dooku v1, Finn versus Kylo, Dooku versus Yoda, Obi-Wan versus Grievous, Kylo versus Rey v2, and then Mace Windu versus Palpatine. So yeah, that is all. Let me see. 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 18 lightsaber duels, or what I consider to be lightsaber duels in the Skywalker saga. Yeah, tell me in the comments what you thought. Rank all these 18. Include whatever you want. Uh, Obviously, you can include, you know, Obi-Wan cutting off that dude's arm in the cantina if you want. I don't care what you include. I just want to know your ranking. Um, Try to include as much of these as you can. If you can, just all 18 of these plus more. I just want to know where these rank in your ranking. But yeah, stay tuned for more tier list rankings. The second arc of the Clone Wars just ended today. I'll be getting a review out for that maybe tomorrow. So, yeah, stay tuned for all my future Star Wars content. And also, the Arrowverse is coming back in a few weeks. Stay tuned for that if you're an Arrowverse fan. And, yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See ya.